I've loved spicy food ever since I was a kid, but my wealthy parents felt that meant I wasn't their biological son. So, when the real young master showed up crying at our door, they believed him without a second thought. They rushed a DNA test overnight, and then just tossed me back to the countryside. What welcomed me was a rundown mud house, stranger parents, and 5 cold, distant sisters. The precious little brother they doted on had suddenly been swapped out for me. Naturally, they couldn't just warm up to a stranger like me. And honestly, in my past life, I was an orphan with no parents at all. Because of that, I especially cherish this hard-won family. Not to mention I actually transmigrated into a book. I know for a fact that these 5 sisters will all become massive big shots in the future. I've absolutely got to cling tight to these powerful future backers. The very next day, Mom and Dad went on a long trip, leaving my 5 sisters working out in the fields. I figured, since I'm home, I might as well cook and clean up the place while I'm at it. I took a little stroll around the house and found a huge patch of wild licorice growing behind the yard. I immediately dug up a bundle to brew some licorice tea. I lowered it into the well to chill. After that, I went ahead and washed my sister's dirty clothes, swept the place spotless, inside and out. Then, I started brainstorming what delicious meal I could make for my sisters for lunch. But with our family's financial situation, just plain white rice definitely wouldn't be enough to go around. Thankfully, there were still a few pumpkins left in the cellar. I decided right then to make steamed pumpkin rice for lunch. I remembered that on the way back, I saw a ton of wild purslane growing along the field ridges. It'd be perfect to pick some for a refreshing cold salad. No sooner said than done. I grabbed a basket and went out to pick a huge batch of purslane. With that, the prep work was pretty much all set. Seeing that it was almost noon, I needed to pull the chilled licorice tea up from the well and bring it to my sisters. But I had zero clue which field they were actually working in, so I had to ask around along the way. At the east end of the village was an endless ocean of golden rice paddies. The villagers were all burying their heads, busy with the harvest. I had to ask quite a few people before I finally found the spot. Everyone was pretty curious seeing my handsome, unfamiliar face. I openly and proudly admitted that I was the son of the Liu family. Right at that moment, my 5 sisters were sweating buckets in the fields. Liu Shangdi was the first to collapse from exhaustion. She plopped down on the ground and complained, I forgot Cici isn't home. No one's bringing us water. I'm so thirsty. Usually, whenever they worked in the fields, Xianxia would bring them food and water. But now that Xianxia was gone, they probably assumed I lacked the common sense to do it. Liu lady said that and tossed her sickle aside. I'll go back and get some for you guys, eldest sister. My clear voice rang out from not too far away. Liu Jiaodi looked up at the sound. The other 4 sisters turned their heads in unison too. But the sunlight was blinding. None of them could clearly see who was approaching until I got closer and closer. I broke into a bright smile and shouted, Sisters, I brought you something to drink. Eldest sister, Liu Jiaodi, set her sickle down and walked over to take the water. As soon as she opened her mouth, she asked, Yanci, how did you know we were here? I just smiled and replied. All I had to do was ask around. It's so hot today. You sisters must be dying of thirst. I brought this here especially for you. Niandi, Pondi, and Lady all shot a glance at Shangdi, who had just been complaining a minute ago. Shangdi's face instantly burned a bright red. What are you looking at me for? It's not like you guys expected this either. She was sharp-tongued and unforgiving, but her body was honest. She picked up the bowl resting on the jar. She poured herself a full bowl, ready to gulp it down, but then realized the liquid was actually yellow. There were even a few roots floating inside. Shangdi scrunched up her eyebrows and demanded, Qingshui, where on earth did you get this muddy water? I pouted, feeling totally wronged. 4th sister, this isn't mud at all, it's sweet licorice. I deliberately left it in the well to chill for ages before bringing it to you guys. Why do you always assume the worst of me? Shangdi scoffed. Nonsense. Since when is grass sweet? Are you sure drinking this won't give us diarrhea? Zhao Di's face instantly darkened as she scolded, Liu Shangdi. Watch your mouth. 2nd sister, Liu Pandi, walked over when she heard the commotion. She snatched the bowl right out of Shangdi's hands and poured herself a cup without another word. Tilting her head back, she chugged it all down. Shangdi was totally stunned. Wait, 2nd sister, are you serious right now? Aren't you scared of getting an upset stomach? Meanwhile, the sweet licorice water slid down Pandi's throat. It instantly washed away the sweltering heat of September, leaving a refreshing coolness in her mouth. A flash of pure amazement crossed Pandi's eyes. She threw a flat look at Shangdi. Just shut up. Right after that, Liu Pandi happily poured herself a second bowl and downed it. Wiping her mouth, she finally spoke up. This water really is sweet. It's definitely licorice root. Only then did Liu Jiaodi break into a smile. She grabbed a bowl too and took a massive gulp. Her expression was a carbon copy of Pandi's. She even chugged down 2 whole bowls before stopping. Then Liu Niandi and Liu Laidi also had a thoroughly satisfying drink, leaving just Liu Shangdi standing awkwardly. Her throat was practically burning dry. Liu Laidi licked her lips and giggled at her. 4th sister, are you really not gonna have any? I don't buy that it's that good, Lu Shangdi muttered stubbornly. But the second she took a tiny sip, she grabbed the whole jug and started aggressively chugging it down. Hey, number 4, save some for me. Third sister, Lu Nyandi, immediately reached out to snatch it back. She had harvested the most rice out of all of them. She had burned the most energy, and right now, she was absolutely dying of thirst. It's all gone. There's literally not a single drop left. I watched helplessly as Lu Shangdi drained the entire jug dry. You couldn't even shake out a single drop. Looks like I'll definitely have to brew an extra pot tomorrow. Otherwise, there won't be nearly enough to go around. I couldn't help but flash a big, toothy grin. Big sister looked back at me with a warm smile. She even lifted her sleeve and gently wiped the sweat off my forehead. Her touch was incredibly soft. Our Yanci is so smart. How on earth did you figure this out? Big sister asked, her eyes full of curiosity. Well, big sister, I just remembered reading about it in a book a while back. But if you ask me for the exact details, I couldn't really tell you. I panicked a little inside, wondering how else to explain it. Anyway, all I know is that it makes a really good drink. You've got such a good heart, Yanci. Big sister lovingly patted my head. It felt so natural, just like how any normal older sister would dote on her little brother. But that one simple gesture made me feel incredibly warm inside. Growing up so starved for affection, I was absolutely desperate for a family's love. Meanwhile, my sisters still looked like they wanted more. Lu Shangdi licked the corner of her mouth, still acting all proud and stubborn. She grabbed her sickle and went straight back to cutting the rice. These 2 acres were going to take at least 3 days to finish. Big sister sighed helplessly and turned to me. Yanci, do you still remember the way back? It's scorching out here. Hurry on home and get some rest. I'll make you lunch as soon as I get back. I nodded vigorously. I remember. Then, clutching the empty jug, I waved goodbye to my sisters and made my way back down the dirt path. It was a massive hit, and I felt absolutely fantastic. The moment I got home, I started whipping up lunch. By the time my sisters got back from the fields, I could hear them from a mile away, sniffing the air and going, "Wow, whose house smells so incredibly good?" Hearing the commotion, I ran out of the kitchen, still tying my apron. I wiped my hands and said with a big smile, "You're back. You must be exhausted from working so hard. Wash up, it's time to eat." I quickly brought over a basin of water for them to wash their hands. All 5 of them were completely dumbfounded. They just followed me to the dining table in a daze. On the table were plates of golden, crispy potato pancakes, and the pumpkin rice was steamed to absolute perfection. Every grain of rice was plump and sweet. My oldest sister looked at me, her face full of shock. "Yanci, did you really make all of this?" "Honestly, it looks even better than fourth sister's cooking." I just smiled and teased back. "Well, if I didn't make it, do you think some magical kitchen fairy came down to cook for us?" Makes sense, though. In their eyes, a spoiled little rich boy like me definitely shouldn't know his way around a kitchen. But that's okay. I'll slowly change their minds about me. But of course, Lu Shangdi, my fourth sister, just had to ruin the mood. "Who cares if it looks good?" she scoffed. "It only matters if it actually tastes good. What kind of delicious food could a pampered brat like you possibly make?" I couldn't even be bothered to argue with her. Instead, I just picked up a potato pancake and put it straight into my oldest sister's bowl. "Here, big sis. Give it a try and tell me what you think." "Oh, thank you, Yanci," she said, holding her bowl out to catch it. She took one bite, and her eyes completely lit up. She said the pancake was soft, chewy, and perfectly savory. "The heat control is just spot on. This is literally the best pancake I've ever had. It's even better than the ones they sell on the street." Hearing that, everyone immediately grabbed a piece and started digging in. At first, they took careful, tiny bites. But within seconds, they were absolutely wolfing it down. Nobody said a single word. But the way they were eating proved exactly how delicious it was. Refusing to believe it, Lu Shangdi grabbed a piece too. After swallowing it, she shot me this incredibly complicated look. She was definitely wondering how a rich kid like me knew how to cook like this. And do it so damn well. The pumpkin rice was fragrant and incredibly sweet. It was a totally new flavor for them. Every single one of them polished off 2 bowls of rice and 2 pancakes. They even wiped the plate of cold porcelain salad completely clean. By the time Lu Shangdi finally snapped out of her daze, the table and the pots were totally empty. I've never seen plates licked so clean in my life. As for me, I was full after just 1 small bowl of pumpkin rice. My 5th sister, Lu Lady, rubbed her stuffed belly and said to the 4th sister, "Well, 4th sis, looks like someone in this house finally cooks better than you do." Hearing that, Lu Shangdi glared at her with absolute daggers in her eyes. "Shut up," she snapped. After the meal, just as I was about to clear the dishes, my oldest sister gently pressed my hand down. "Yanci, you did all the cooking. So let your sisters handle the washing up. Shangdi, you do the dishes." Lu Shangdi was already sulking. And being called out like that made her instantly blow up. "Why the hell should I wash them? You guys ate way more than I did." But my oldest sister shut her down with a completely straight face. "Because you clearly have the most energy. If you've got the strength to complain after working in the fields all morning, then who else should wash them? I burst out laughing. Big sis was totally backing me up. Seeing Lu Shangdi looking so incredibly bitter, my third and fifth sisters started cracking up too. Even my quiet second sister had a little smirk on her face. What the hell are you all laughing at? Lu Shangdi snapped, glaring at my glowing smile. She stood up with a haughty huff, snatched the dishes right out of my hands, and muttered, "Fine, I'll wash them, I'll wash them." The midday sun was absolutely brutal. My sisters had to catch their breath before heading back out to the fields. I quickly brewed up some sweet herbal tea so they'd have something to drink during the afternoon heat. Afterward, my sisters all went back to their rooms for a nap. I lay in my own bed, but I just couldn't fall asleep. The Lu family's financial situation was tough. I absolutely had to figure out a way to make some money. I pulled that gold ring out from under my pillow, seriously considering pawning it off. But on second thought, no, I just couldn't. I had just come back to the Lu family, and things were still a bit delicate between us. Not to mention, my sisters had a lot of pride. If I actually went and pawned that ring, they'd definitely assume I brought it with me from the Xie family. They wouldn't touch a single penny of that money. In fact, they'd probably think I was insulting them. Besides, we still had 6 months. I'm a modern guy. There's no way I'm gonna let myself starve in ancient times. This ring was my only real keepsake. Unless it was an absolute life or death emergency, I wasn't going to touch it. By early afternoon, my sisters were getting ready to head back out to work. I packed up 2 massive jugs of sweet herbal tea for them. That would definitely be enough to keep them hydrated. Right before leaving, they made sure to tell me, "Yanci, leave dinner for us. We'll make it when we get back." The boys in our Lu family are meant to be totally spoiled. You've got all his older sisters looking out for you now, just like we did for little C. Just stay home and relax. All you need to do is grow up safe and happy, okay? I just smiled back at my oldest sister. Come on, it's just cooking dinner. I'm really not tired. You don't have to treat me like some fragile little young master, you know. I want to pull my weight around here. It's the best way for me to actually settle into this new life. Besides, if they told me to just chill and I actually laid around doing absolutely nothing, well, that would make me pretty useless, wouldn't it? I had to show some initiative if I wanted to win them over. My oldest sister just ruffled my hair and smiled. Alright, we're heading out. I stood there like a good kid, waving them off until they completely disappeared from sight. I was just about to head back inside when I heard a bunch of teenage boys laughing down the dirt road. 3 guys stopped as they were walking past our yard. The one in the middle looked right at me and asked, "Your sister's sus biological brother, aren't you?" I just nodded. The kid on the left just scoffed, giving me a blatant up and down look. When he actually got a good look at my face, the absolute disgust in his eyes became even more obvious. I was completely clueless. This was literally the first time we had ever crossed paths. How the hell did I manage to offend him already? "What's your name?" the guy in the middle asked. I just answered him honestly. After chatting for a minute, I found out they were locals from the village. The guy in the middle was Du Zitang, the village chief's son. The glaring kid on the left was Zhou, and the totally silent one on the right was Zitang's little brother, Du Zinao. They mentioned that since it was September, a ton of wild pine mushrooms had sprouted up in the mountains. They were heading up together to pick some and sell them in town. Hearing the name Zhou, it actually suddenly clicked for me. He was best buddies with Xianxia. No wonder he was glaring at me like I was absolute dirt. He was just trying to play the loyal friend and hold a grudge on Xianxia's behalf. But come on, Xianxia was a wealthy young master now. Getting swapped at birth wasn't exactly my fault. Did he really have to look at me with that much pure hatred? But honestly, all my attention was completely fixated on those pine mushrooms. The second I heard they could be sold for cash, I perked right up, because money was exactly what I desperately needed right now. So I flashed my absolute brightest smile and scooted right up to Du Zitang. "Zitang, my man, where exactly do you guys go to forage for these mushrooms?" Hearing that, Du Zitang totally caved. There was no way he could refuse me. "Well, little bro Yanci, the mountains near the village have tons of pine trees. These mushrooms grow right at their roots. It rained a few days ago, so they're all popping up now." "Why do you ask, Yanci?" Hearing that, I nodded like crazy. "Yes, brother Zitang, I want to go too. But I just got back, and I'm completely clueless. I don't know the way at all. If you want to go, we're heading up the mountain again tomorrow morning. You should come with us." Zitang invited me without a second thought, but Zhou clearly wasn't happy about it. He tugged at Zitang's sleeve and whined, "Brother Zitang, why are you bringing him? Does he even look like someone who knows how to do hard work? Those mountain paths are so hard to hike. He's just gonna hold us back and slow us down." Zitang retorted sternly, "Zhou, Yanci is a part of our village now. We're all around the same age, so we should be looking out for each other. It's exactly because he doesn't know how that we need to bring him along." Zhou looked completely annoyed. "Brother Zitang, you're just way too nice. Whatever, forget it. Bring him if you want. But if something happens, it's not my problem." After saying that, Joji angrily grabbed his basket and stormed off. Zaitang looked at me helplessly. Please don't mind him, Yanci. Joji just has a blunt temper. He's really not a bad guy. It's totally fine. Well then, brother Zaitang. It's a deal. I'll go with you guys tomorrow. Remember to call me tomorrow morning before you head up the mountain. I honestly didn't care what Joji thought of me. I had already achieved my goal anyway. I chatted with Zaitang for a bit longer, watched the two brothers walk away, and then turned around to head home and cook. By the time the sun went down in the evening, my 5 sisters had returned. When my oldest sister saw that I had already set dinner on the table, she just gave me a helpless, warm smile. During dinner, I caught her staring at the cornbread buns I made. It's just a simple corn bun, it's not like I worked magic on it. My third sister, Lu Niandi, practically inhaled every grain of rice in her bowl and couldn't help but let out a loud burp. It made me snicker secretly. My oldest sister sighed warmly. Yanci rarely ever cooked at home before, and his skills were just average. We used to come home exhausted from a long day and still have to cook for ourselves. But now, coming home to a hot meal. It feels absolutely amazing. I've got hot water ready in the kitchen. I quickly urged my sisters to go take a bath. Harvesting rice all day must have left them incredibly itchy. They originally just wanted to rinse off in the river, but seeing how thoughtful I was being, they didn't have the heart to refuse. Only my fourth sister, Lu Shangdi, went back to her room to grab her clothes, insisting on washing up in the river. My sisters really doted on me. They made sure to leave the bath barrel just for me, and even left a hot breakfast ready for me the next morning. But right after I finished eating and was getting ready to head up the mountain to earn some pocket money, who would have guessed? As soon as I stepped outside, Joji was right there, greeting me with that sour look on his face. He rolled his eyes, glaring at me with total contempt as he scoffed. TCH. You? Cooking? Is the food even edible? I was instantly pissed off. I'm not asking you to eat it anyway. You're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. Joji was so angry his cheeks literally puffed out. And just like that, the three of us headed up the mountain together. The whole way up, Joji never once took his disgusted glare off me. When we reached the foot of the mountain, Zixi specifically took me to a different spot. He said there were fewer people around here, but then he gave me a serious warning. Yanci, whatever you do, don't go too deep into the woods. There are wild beasts in the mountains, it's not safe. My heart skipped a beat. I quickly promised him I'd be careful, then picked up a nice, long branch, and started hunting for mushrooms in earnest. I didn't expect my luck to be this insanely good. With just a casual sweep of the leaves, I found clusters upon clusters of huge pine mushrooms underneath. Doji wanted to look down on me, right? I was going to sell these mushrooms for cash and slap him right in the face with it. In no time at all, my basket was packed to the brim. But there were still so many left unpicked up ahead. I started plotting in my head. I'd just come back in the afternoon. So, I played it smart. I quietly used my branch to cover the remaining mushrooms back up with dead leaves. Yeah, I'm petty like that. This was all money, after all. Just as I was feeling smug about my own cleverness, Duzixi's voice suddenly called out from nearby. Lu Yanci. When Duzixi saw my overflowing basket of mushrooms, he froze in his tracks. You're already done? I nodded, made up a quick excuse. I need to get back and cook for my sisters. Surprisingly, he looked totally bummed out as he showed me his own basket. I don't know what's going on today. There are barely any pine mushrooms in this area. Look, I've only found this tiny bit. I looked at the pitiful 2 or 3 mushrooms in his basket, then looked down at mine. A business idea instantly sparked in my mind. I pulled back the scrap of cloth covering my basket. A basket bursting with huge, plump pine mushrooms was instantly revealed. There were a ton over where I was. You should go check it out. See? I picked so many. Duzixi was a good guy. I couldn't bring myself to lie to him. At worst, I'd just find a new spot this afternoon. After that, I hurried straight home and whipped up a stir-fry with the fresh pine mushrooms I just picked. Then I waited for my sisters to get back. But the moment they walked through the door, seeing the piping hot food, they all froze in their tracks. Especially Lu Shangdi. Just this morning she was mocking me for putting on an act, but now my cooking had slapped her right in the face. Lu Jiaodi's eyes were wide with shock as she pointed at the table. Cece, where did you get these mushrooms? I explained, playing the good boy. I picked them on the mountain. I wanted to sell them to help out with the family expenses. However, to my absolute shock, hearing this didn't make them happy at all. Instead, all the color drained from their faces. Lu Jiaodi looked deeply apologetic. Cece, you don't need to worry about making money. As older sisters will figure it out. Even Lu Pondi, who usually kept to herself, chimed in. That's right. Providing for the family is a woman's job. Lu Shangdi outright scoffed. Are you looking down on us? We're still alive and kicking. Why on earth would we need you to provide for the family? The old CC never used to care about this stuff. Ah, the old CC again. Every time they open their mouths, it's always about that spoiled little rich boy. The anger inside me flared right up. Is it really that hard to understand wanting to change your life with your own 2 hands? I'm not some little rich boy anymore. I glared right at them, declaring every single word loud and clear. He is him. And I am me. I don't want my life to forever be tied to the name Xianxia, okay? I was so mad I just snapped at them, turned around, and walked right off. I didn't want to say another single word to them. I figured things would just stay super awkward between us. But who would have thought, barely an hour later, there was actually a knock on my door. As soon as I opened it, I saw Lu Jiaodi and Lu Shangdi standing right there. My oldest sister was even holding a bowl of food. You didn't eat lunch today, so we brought you something to eat. Cici, your cooking is really good. I took the food, but Lu Jiaodi suddenly pulled Lu Shangdi forward, nudging her to speak. Lu Shangdi looked totally reluctant, but she finally spoke up. I'm sorry, Yanci. I shouldn't have been so harsh. But then her tone completely shifted. From now on, no matter what you do, as long as it doesn't hurt this family, I won't just criticize you for no reason. I accepted her apology, but I stood my ground. As for foraging those pine mushrooms, I'm still going to keep doing it. Right then, my oldest sister, Lu Jiaodi, let out a heavy sigh. And finally told me the truth. Cici, we were just worried about you running into danger up on the mountain all by yourself. There are so many wild animals out there. That's why we sounded so harsh. My heart softened a bit. So they weren't looking down on me after all. They were just scared I'd get hurt. But, before I even had a second to feel touched, Lu Jiaodi dropped a massive bombshell right after. Since you insist on doing this, we won't stop you. The morning after next, we'll have your fourth sister go to the market with you to sell them. Wait, why me? Lu Shangdi instantly blew up, pointing at herself in pure disbelief. But our oldest sister didn't give her a single chance to argue back. Her eyes went sharp. If you're going to apologize, you need to actually show some sincerity. If he loses even a single hair, I'm holding you personally responsible. What a brilliant move. I almost burst out laughing right then and there. Before Lu Shangdi could complain anymore, our oldest sister just dragged her away. And that was that. The second they stepped out the door to head back to the fields, I grabbed my basket and sprinted right back up the mountain. This time, I hiked even further in. My luck was absolutely insane. Both of the small baskets I brought with me ended up completely full. During dinner that night, Lu Shangdi sat there in total silence. I was secretly laughing to myself. She really is a pretty girl. It's just a shame she has to open her mouth. The next day, the rice harvest at home was finally all finished. My sisters could finally take a breather. By the third day, I was already figuring out my game plan. To head out early the day after next, bringing along all the loot I gathered over the past 2 days. I'm going to the market with my rival fourth sister to make a killing. I need to hurry up and stock up. 2 huge baskets full of pine mushrooms just waiting for tomorrow to hit the market with Du Zidang and make a fortune. But who knew this place would look like it got ransacked today? I've been at it for hours and only got 1 measly little basket. I braced myself. What wild beasts? Who cares? No risk, no reward. I gathered my courage and headed deep into the woods. Sure enough, the place was packed with treasures. So many I couldn't even pick them all. I was right in the zone. When suddenly, a wild boar came crashing out of the bushes. It locked eyes on me and lunged right at me. Oh, crap. I bolted. That beast was hot on my heels, not giving up. Just my rotten luck. But right at that moment, I spotted a trap covered with branches up ahead. Without even thinking, I threw myself to the side with all my might. The boar couldn't hit the brakes. And crash. It tumbled right into the 2-meter deep pit. I was covered head to toe in dirt. But what was even worse, those 2 baskets of pine mushrooms I worked so hard to pick got totally crushed into mush. Just as I was about to burst into tears, a huge hand suddenly pulled me up. Kid, are you alright? I looked up. A scruffy-looking guy was staring down at me. Before I could even ask who he was, he awkwardly rubbed his nose. That boar. I was the one who chased it over here. Oh, boy. So this was your brilliant doing. I stared at my ruined baskets. My heart was practically bleeding, seeing how devastated I looked. He must have felt a twinge of guilt, because he actually offered to make it up to me. Listen, kid, I know a spot where there's a ton of pine mushrooms. Just follow me. I started to hesitate in my head. Some random guy who just popped out of nowhere, could I really trust him? But his very next words stopped me dead in my tracks. Don't be scared, kid. I'm Hunter Zhang from Xianxia. Everyone in the nearby villages knows me. Xianxia? Wait, isn't that the village I'm living in right now? Hunter Zhang. Isn't he my third sister, Lu Niandi's legendary martial arts master with that crazy hidden identity? I can't believe I bumped into him. I was absolutely ecstatic. I definitely need to get on his good side. So, I instantly flashed him a smile brighter than the sun. What a coincidence, mister. I'm from Xianxia too, but he just gave me a weird look. I've lived in Xianxia for over 10 years. How come I've never seen you around? I quickly explained myself. I'm the biological son the Lu family just found. I've only been back for a few days. So it makes total sense you don't know me, mister. As soon as I said that, the way he looked at me instantly changed. It was this mix of sudden realization and a bit of amusement. Then, he waved his big hand. Ah, I see. Well, to make it up to you, I'll take you to a sweet spot. That place is practically a goldmine for pine mushrooms. I followed him, and man, he wasn't kidding. It was like we stumbled right into the motherlode of pine mushrooms. They were absolutely everywhere. Uncle Zhang even pitched in to help me gather them, and I quickly made up for my losses. Seeing that my basket couldn't hold any more, I thanked him and headed home. By the time I got back, my sisters had already started the fire. I didn't breathe a single word about my little adventure. Later, at dinner, Xianxia kept pestering me, asking if the food was good. I couldn't help but mutter to myself. I mean, it's just plain porridge and flatbread, how special could it really be? But out loud, I praised it to the high heavens, just begging for her to let me off the hook. Bright and early the next morning, Xianxia followed me to the market, looking completely miserable. As soon as we reached the village entrance, Xianxia and Joji were already waiting for us. That kid Joji spotted me from a distance, wearing his usual smug smirk. But the second he caught sight of Xianxia right behind me, his face turned tomato red. He immediately dropped his head, totally speechless. Ah, young love. But my sister, completely clueless as always, didn't notice a thing. She just quietly loaded our baskets onto the ox cart, taking a quick look at theirs. She realized our mushrooms were actually way fresher and bigger than theirs. 2 coins a person. We head back at 3 p.m., Old Man Hong called out as he collected the fare. Xianxia handed over 4 coins, looking like someone was physically cutting off her flesh. I totally get it. Those 4 coins were enough to feed the girls for several meals. The moment the ox cart hit the road, Xianxia turned into a total chatterbox. He was asking about this and that, while Xianxia just gave him half-hearted, annoyed answers. Then, out of nowhere, he blurted out, "When is your oldest sister, Jowdy, coming back?" Hearing that question, Xianxia's face instantly flushed a bright red. Xianxia honestly replied that it would be more than half a month. His eyes immediately lit up. I sat there, taking in the whole little drama. Meanwhile, Joji, sitting right next to him, had this incredibly complicated look in his eyes. He kept sneaking glances at Xianxia right past me, one second looking love-struck, the next looking totally annoyed. I honestly couldn't care less about their little teenage soap opera. All I had on my mind was how to sell out all 40+ pounds of these pine mushrooms. Once we hit the market, Xianxia was lightning fast and snagged us a prime spot. Xianxia and Joji tried to set up right next to us, but Xianxia shot them a deadly glare. She shooed them away without hesitation. "You two, go find somewhere else. How are any of us supposed to make a sale if we're all crammed together?" Xianxia and Joji looked totally humiliated. Awkwardly, they picked up their baskets and moved straight across from us. Soon enough, Xianxia started yelling out to the crowd, and he quickly made his first sale. 2 coins a pound. But what about Joji? With his crush sitting right across from him, his pride wouldn't let him shout. He stood there like a statue for ages. And my 4th sister, Xianxia, was even more obsessed with her pride. There was zero chance she was going to yell for customers. Well, alright then. Looks like I was going to have to do this myself. Come take a look. Step right up. Fresh pine mushrooms. Get your authentic taste of the mountains right here. They're still damp with morning dew. With a smooth voice and a handsome face like mine, and a ridiculously charming smile to match, I instantly caught the attention of a well-dressed older man. He shopped around a bit, and sure enough, realized ours were the freshest of the bunch. Big, perfectly intact, and absolutely beautiful. How much per pound? I'll take 2 pounds. I turned on the ultimate charm. And calling him Big Brother instantly made his day. 2 coins a pound. Take your pick, sir. Once you're done, I'll have my sister weigh them out for you. He was saying things like, "I'm old enough to be your dad." But he was happily picking through the mushrooms anyway. 4th sister, I don't know how to use the scale, you do it. I dumped the work on her. Lu Xianxia rolled her eyes at me, but still went to weigh them. She was probably thinking, why is he even doing business if he can't use a scale? 2 pounds and 2 ounces. She reached out to take off the extra, but I quickly grabbed her hand to stop her. I just dumped all the mushrooms right into the old man's basket. It's just a couple extra ounces. They're on the house. Oh my, you sure know how to do business, young man. The old guy's face lit up instantly. My sister scoffed, but I knew I'd hooked him. He paid his 4 coins, looking incredibly pleased with himself. He'd only taken a few steps when he saw some buddies standing over at Joji's stall. He immediately turned around and hollered, "Uncle Zhang. Uncle Lu, come over here. The mushrooms here are huge and super fresh." Just like that, the guys who were about to pick up Joji's mushrooms heard their friend calling, and turned right around to head my way. When they came over and took a look, they saw he was right. I wasn't just sweet-talking and greeting them one by one. I also let them pick through the pile however they wanted, unlike other stalls that get mad if you bruise their goods. That made them feel really respected. Each of them bought 2 pounds, and I generously threw in a couple extra ounces for each. After those few sales, I'd instantly raked in 16 coins. I shot a look across the way. Joji looked absolutely sick with rage, but since my sister was standing right there, all he could do was quietly grind his teeth. But after sitting there for a good while, except for that first rush of customers, things went completely dead. The sun was beating down harder and harder. If we didn't sell these mushrooms soon, they were gonna rot. I had to figure something out. Suddenly, I shot to my feet, nearly scaring my sister half to death as she dozed off next to me. What the hell are you doing? Fourth sister, you know where the biggest restaurant in town is, right? But the second she heard that, she burst out laughing. What? You make a dozen coins and suddenly you wanna eat out? At the fanciest place in town, no less? I'm going there to do business. I was sweating bullets at this point. I busted my ass picking 30 pounds of pine mushrooms. I couldn't just let them go to waste. At first, she flat out refused, but I just wouldn't stop nagging her. Finally, she caved. You're a real pain in my ass, you know that? Fine, you win. So, we grabbed our baskets and headed straight for Kelai restaurant, the biggest spot in town. But the second we got to the door, the waiter tried to shoo us away. What do you think you're doing? Get lost. Don't block the entrance to our restaurant. The look my sister gave me clearly said, see? I told you so. Just then, the restaurant manager walked out from inside. He saw us and asked the waiter what was going on. But before the waiter could even open his mouth, I jumped right in. Boss, are you buying any fresh pine mushrooms? Have a taste of September's first harvest. Add some new dishes to your restaurant. The manager looked over at the sound of my voice. Seeing I was a handsome young lad, surprisingly, he didn't just kick me out right away. However, he said, I suppose I could take a few. But I don't need a lot. Just give me a few pounds. These aren't exactly rare goods, and the texture is a bit woody. His tone made it sound like he was doing charity. I clapped right back. If you think they don't taste good, then you're just cooking them wrong. The way I make them is absolutely delicious. The manager was completely caught off guard by my words, finding it kind of funny. You've got quite the mouth on you for such a young guy. Don't tell me your cooking can actually beat the chef I pay good silver for? That was exactly what I was aiming for. I immediately proposed a bet. How about this? I'll show you what I can do right here and now. If you think it's delicious, you buy all of these pine mushrooms. You'll definitely be able to sell them for a great price. And if I make a mess of it, I'll give all of this to you absolutely free. Either way, you don't lose. Businessmen really never pass up a risk-free deal. The manager's eyes darted around. Let's add one more condition. If it tastes awful, you have to stay here and wash my massive pile of dirty dishes. Just washing some dishes? I can afford to play this game. But before I could even agree, my fourth sister completely blew up. She grabbed my arm. Why on earth do you have to compete with him? You worked so incredibly hard to forage these, and you're just going to give them away for free? And work for them for free on top of that? Come back home with me right now. She picked up her carrying pole, ready to storm off, but I hurriedly pulled her back. Fourth sister, we haven't even gone inside yet. How do you know I'll fail? It's not like it's going to kill me anyway. Just come along with me, please? What if I actually pull this off? While my sister was still trying to drag me away, the manager stood there, looking like he was enjoying the show. Let this kid suffer a little setback, he thought. But I agreed without missing a beat. You've got a deal. The manager then led me straight into the back kitchen. The kitchen staff heard about what was happening and all gathered around to watch the joke unfold. They thought I was way out of my depth. But my fourth sister stayed right by my side, not leaving for a second. She wanted to see exactly what kind of trick I was playing. I stepped right up to the stove. First, I washed and blanched the mushrooms, then grabbed a handful of wood ear mushrooms to soak. I sliced up the lean meat, scallions, and garlic. And then came the most crucial step. I picked up a potato. With swift chops, my knife danced endlessly across the cutting board. In an instant, I had sliced perfectly even julienne potatoes. My fourth sister stared wide-eyed in sheer disbelief. How was this a pampered young master? These practiced movements were clearly those of a seasoned chef. However, what shocked her even more was yet to come. I actually wrapped the shredded potatoes in cheesecloth and smashed them fiercely with the back of my knife. I kept smashing until I squeezed out a small bowl of cloudy starch water. This right here was my exclusive secret for elevating the flavor. Fire up the wok, pour in the oil, high heat. Sizzle the minced garlic until fragrant, then toss in the sliced meat. Followed immediately by the mushrooms and wood ear. Stir fry it all on high heat, then add water. Finally, use that bowl of potato starch water to thicken and reduce the sauce. In an instant, a rich, savory aroma hit us. I portioned it out onto 2 plates. The cooks, who were full of disdain just moments ago, now crowded around in curiosity. They took a hesitant bite, and their expressions instantly shifted from doubtful to absolute disbelief. Wow, it really isn't tough at all. So savory. This flavor is incredible. I ignored their gasps of amazement and walked straight over to the shopkeeper. Just having them taste it isn't enough. The customers have the final say. What do you think, boss? The shopkeeper had long since dropped his contemptuous look. He ordered someone to take the dish out for the guests to try. The result? Every single person who tasted it wanted to order a plate. With business rolling in, he finally caved. Fair and square, I lost. I'll take all your mushrooms. The market price is 2 coppers. I'll give you an extra one. 3 coppers a pound? You think you can brush me off with just 3 coppers? I let out a cold laugh. Not gonna cut it. 3 coppers is way too low. 5 coppers a pound. I won't sell for a single copper less. The shopkeeper's face darkened. 5 coppers? Don't push your luck, kid. I can buy these wild mushrooms from anyone else at any time. But I had already seen right through him. Boss, I just demonstrated my exclusive secret technique right in front of all your cooks. How are we calculating that tuition fee? Besides, if you're not willing to pay, I'll march right over to another restaurant and teach this method to them. When that happens, 1 pound of pine mushrooms will yield 3 plates of food. You can weigh for yourself who wins and who loses here. The moment I finished speaking, the shopkeeper's face completely changed. He knew that if another place learned this secret recipe, he would suffer a massive loss. You're a crafty little rascal, aren't you? Fine, we'll do it your way. 5 coppers a pound. Ah Kai, go get the scale. The corners of my mouth curled up in a smirk. You're a straightforward man, boss. I felt completely satisfied. This deal was totally worth it. The shopkeeper, however, was completely under my thumb. He leaned in closer. I'm doing business with you today, but you are not allowed to tell this method to anyone else. From now on, I'll buy all your mushrooms for 1 copper above the market price. Deal? That was exactly what I wanted. I immediately promised. You got it. From now on, in Qing County, only the Kelai restaurant will know this method. It was just a fair trade, and I knew exactly what I was doing. 30 pounds of pine mushrooms. 5 coppers a pound. That makes exactly 150 coppers. Plus the 16 coppers I already have on hand. 166 coins in total. I squeezed the heavy coin purse, grinning from ear to ear. Thanks, boss. Wishing you a booming business. If it sells well, I'll bring more in a few days. The shopkeeper didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Alright, I'll take your word for it. Walking out of the restaurant, my 4th sister was still looking like she was in a dream. My smooth moves back there had completely blown her mind. I dangled the money in front of her face, looking absolutely smug. How about that, 4th sis? Pretty awesome, right? She gave me a thumbs up. Incredible. Getting her approval made me feel like I was on cloud 9. I dragged her straight to the butcher's stall, and boldly bought 2 pounds of pork belly. Right after that, we hit up the grain store for 10 pounds of coarse flour, and grabbed 10 coins worth of cooking oil. I even stopped by the bun stand and bought 8 pork buns, perfectly spending the last of our loose change. 4th sis followed right behind me, watching me load up on meat and flour. When she noticed I hadn't bought a single thing for myself, the look in her eyes completely changed. I carried the bags, beaming at her. 4th sis, we're having meat tonight, and big steamed buns, too. But she suddenly asked, aren't you going to buy anything for yourself? I shook my head. I don't really need anything. I just want everyone to have a good meal. Come on, let's head home. Hearing that, 4th sis felt a sudden pang in her heart. She had always thought I was just some spoiled brat, so she never expected that the moment I got some money, my very first thought would be our family. She suddenly asked, Yanci, how come you know how to cook? And you're so good at it, too. My heart skipped a beat. I almost blew my cover. I quickly scrambled for an excuse. Well, Madame Xie used to say that if a man wants to be the pillar of the household, he has to learn how to take care of people. So, I made sure to learn how to cook. It was a flawless cover story. Sure enough, 4th sis bought it completely, nodding her head in serious agreement. Seeing that it was getting late, the 2 of us rushed back to the town gates. Duzixi and Joji had just arrived, too. But looking at their baskets, they still had more than half of their pine mushrooms left. It seemed like business was pretty brutal for them today. Old Man Hong spotted me and 4th sis, and waved us over to get on the cart to head home. Duzixi's baskets were still practically full. When he saw our empty hands, his eyes went wide. You guys sold everything? I nodded. Yep, we just switched up our spot, and sold it all. I shut down all his questions with one simple sentence, so he couldn't interrogate me. Duzixi was instantly green with envy. Your luck is insane. We're stuck with all of ours. I just smiled and kept my mouth shut. But in my head, I was thinking, this had nothing to do with luck. As the ox cart bumped along the road, I excitedly mapped out our huge dinner for the night. Braised pork belly and soft, white steamed buns. And there were steaming hot meat buns too. But I noticed, 4th sister was just brushing me off, like something was weighing on her mind. Suddenly, she looked at me seriously and asked, I'm cooking tonight. You better come over and give me some pointers. Turns out, 4th sister had a dream she wanted to open her own restaurant, so the whole family could live a good life. I decided to tease her a bit. Well, since you're asking so nicely, 4th sister, I guess I can make the effort to teach you. Just as I thought, she rolled her eyes right at me. Give you an inch and you take a mile. We were joking and laughing together. But who knew, the second we reached the front gate, something felt off. In the courtyard, my other sisters were surrounded by 5 or 6 huge thugs. The tension was through the roof. The leader, a guy in a long silk gown, had a smoking pipe in his mouth, and was pointing right at 1st sister's face. He snarled a vicious threat. It's written in black and white. You can't weasel out of this. If you don't pay up, I'm taking all your grain, and then I'm going straight to the magistrate. You still think you're taking the spring exams? Once you're rotting in a cell, you can forget about it for the rest of your life. As soon as those words left his mouth, first sister's face went dead pale. Second sister was furious, and stormed forward. We already paid off the 30 taels. Why are you going back on your word? Third sister also spoke up, her voice ice cold. This is pure extortion. We're the ones who should go to the magistrate. But the man wasn't scared at all. He just whipped out a loan agreement and slapped it down. Go to the magistrate? I have it all right here in black and white. What exactly are you going to sue me for? He jabbed a finger at the densely packed tiny text. Read it carefully. If it's not paid off in 3 months, we charge interest. 5 taels of principal, compounded over and over. At 5 mace a day. It's been over a year now. So you still owe me 25 taels. And look, this is your father's own fingerprint right here. My sisters were shaking with rage. You're just preying on our father because he can't read. But the man just let out a sinister, mocking laugh. Then, he changed his tune. And actually brought me up. I heard. That little boy in your family, he's the real son of the richest man in town, Squire Gu, isn't he? He waved the IOU in his hand, a nasty smirk spreading across his face. You've raised the kid for over 10 years, there's gotta be some affection there. If you really can't pay up, I'll just take this paper over to Squire Gu and ask him for the cash. Fourth sister and I heard every single word from outside. That threat completely lit the fuse on her temper. She threw down her carrying pole, grabbed the broom by the gate, and charged right in. My heart dropped. I screamed out, "Fourth sister, calm down." But there was absolutely no stopping her. She let out a furious roar, "Go to hell. You bunch of filthy thugs." She swung that broom and went straight for the leader. The bristles barely even brushed his clothes, but the guy totally lost it. He pointed at fourth sister and shrieked, "Oh, you've done it now. Not only do you refuse to pay your debts, you dare assault me? Boys, seize every last bag of their grain." Those thugs were about to lay their hands on them. Seeing this, I panicked. Oh hell no, that's a whole year's worth of food for our entire family. Hold it right there, I roared, bursting into the courtyard. Let's talk this out, we'll pay you back. In an instant, every single eye locked onto me. The ringleader, a rat-faced guy, looked me up and down. "Who the hell are you?" he sneered. I straightened my back, and declared, word by word, "I am the true son of the Liu family." He signaled his goons to back off, then held out his hand toward me. "Alright, you said it, pay up." I instantly slapped on the brightest smile I could muster. "Come on, boss, a classy guy like you. Surely we can just talk this out, right?" His expression softened a fraction. "Cut the crap, hand over the money, 25 taels of silver. And don't even think about shorting me a single coin." My heart sank, but I kept the apologetic grin plastered on my face. "Boss, could you possibly give us a little more time? Once I scrape the silver together, I'll pay you back in full." I swear, to my surprise, his face twisted in rage, and he spat hard on the dirt. "Bullshit, are you messing with me, you little punk?" Seeing things go south, my eldest sister quickly pulled me behind her to shield me. "Boss John, we're not trying to run from our debt. We just really don't have that much silver on hand right now." But Boss John wasn't buying it for a second. He pointed right at her face and barked, "More time? How much damn time have I already given you? I want my money today. Or else I'm dragging you straight to the dungeons, girl." A fire flared up in my chest. That treacherous bastard. He purposely let the interest pile up before coming to collect. I absolutely could not stand by and let my sister's life be ruined. Right then and there, I stepped back out and stared Boss John dead in the eye. "Boss John, how about this? Give us exactly 1 month. We will pay back every single piece of silver we owe you." My eldest sister turned pale with shock and desperately grabbed my arm. "CC, don't do anything crazy. Where on earth are we going to find 25 taels of silver in just 1 month?" I gently grasped her trembling hand in return. I gave her a reassuring look. "Don't panic, sister. I know what I'm doing." But Boss John looked completely unconvinced. 1 month? Who knows what kind of tricks you rats will try to pull by then. I let out a cold scoff, finally deciding to play my trump card. "Boss John, I spent over a decade living as the young master of the Xie family. My ties with the wealthiest family in Qing County are still there. If I'm truly pushed into a corner, I have my ways. Are you absolutely sure you won't even give me this much face?" I didn't expect that the moment the words left my mouth, my fourth sister would explode. Her face flushed crimson as she screamed at me, "Liu Yanci, we don't need the Xie family's damn charity." Without even turning my head, I snapped back. "Shut up, fourth sister. You're as dense as a brick." Fourth sister was so furious at me she was practically stomping her feet, while that Boss John, sure enough, started weighing his options, his eyes darting back and forth. He fell into deep thought. What I meant was crystal clear. I was telling him to do the Xie family a favor and give me a 1-month extension. If he dared to cross the richest family in Qing County, he'd be playing with fire. Sure enough, That rat-faced guy thought it over for a second. He finally caved. Giving you a 1-month extension isn't out of the question. But his next words drained the color right out of my eldest sister's face. But we're gonna have to bump up that interest. In 1 month, you owe me 30 taels of silver. If we have a deal, let's sign and thumbprint right here, right now. A month's interest should have only been 1.5 taels, but he was demanding 5. This was straight up highway robbery. And yet, he didn't even blink. Fine, it's a deal. Eldest sister panicked instantly. Her voice was actually shaking with distress. Yanci, that's an outrageous deal. How could you agree to that? 30 taels. That's a death sentence for our whole family. But I stood my ground. It's okay, eldest sister. I can pay it off. Seeing me agree so quickly, Boss Zhang smiled smugly. All these daughters in your family. And none of them have the guts of a little boy like you. Go get the ink and brush. I scoffed on the inside. Of course I had a backup plan. Worst comes to worst, I could just pawn this gold ring I have. That's 30 taels of silver right there. Once the contract was written up, I read through it carefully to make sure there were no hidden tricks. Only then did I sign my name and stamp my thumbprint. Boss Zhang pocketed the contract and strutted off with his men. He threw one last threat over his shoulder. I'll be back in exactly 1 month. Don't make me do something ugly. The second they were out the door, fourth sister exploded. She pointed right in my face and started screaming. Yanci, are you out of your mind? Where on earth are we gonna get 30 taels in a month? Let me tell you something. Even if the Liu family starves to death, we will never take a single handout from the Xie family. I looked at her face, bright red with fury, and just said calmly, fourth sister. If I hadn't said that, were they ever gonna leave? As for the money, I've got it figured out. Don't worry, I won't go begging to the Xie family. I was just bluffing to buy us some time. I looked around at my sisters, who were now dead silent, and said slowly and clearly. Besides, what's more important here? 30 taels of silver. Our eldest sister's future? She has studied so hard for years. We can't let a little bit of money ruin her chances at an official career. The moment I said that, the room went completely silent. It was true. If eldest sister got reported to the authorities, her entire life would be ruined. Eldest sister just looked at me. Her eyes were filled with so many emotions. This little brother of hers, whom she always thought was so immature, had actually thought of absolutely everything. Seeing that the atmosphere was getting too heavy, I quickly put on a big smile. Alright, everything will work out in the end. Plus, I actually made some money today. I bought some meat, and some steamed buns too. We are having an absolute feast tonight. Fourth sister, didn't you want me to teach you a few tricks? Well, go bring the stuff inside. Fourth sister grumbled a bit, but her body was honest. She awkwardly went out to grab the things. Soon enough, fourth sister's voice rang through the house. She was enthusiastically sharing her version, telling our other sisters all about my brilliant moves selling pine mushrooms at the market today. At the very end, she even added, a bit begrudgingly, I gotta say he's actually pretty smart. Right after that, she dropped another massive bombshell. I also promised the boss that I'd deliver more to him in a few days. The boss agreed to take them for 3 coins a pound. But I have something much more important to do right now. So, I looked at my sisters and asked, full of hope. Could you guys help me out with picking the mushrooms? My eldest sister, Lu Jiaodi, burst into a giggle and gently poked my forehead. You are such a clever little rascal. I'll go pick them for you tomorrow. I rubbed my forehead, chuckling softly, but right at that moment, my usually quiet second sister, Lu Pondi, caught the main point. You said you had something else to do. What exactly is it? Instantly, everyone's eyes locked onto me. But I deliberately kept them in suspense. You will all find out when the time comes. Peeved, always keeping us guessing. Fourth sister Lu Shangdi rolled her eyes and turned around to start cooking. But just as she moved, a man's voice suddenly boomed from the doorway. Is anybody home? Third sister Lu Niandi's face instantly dropped the second she heard it. She immediately bolted out to open the door. It was her master's voice. She threw the door open, and sure enough, it was Hunter Zhang. He was holding a massive chunk of wild boar meat in his hand. Third sister was just about to call out, Master. But Hunter Zhang quickly shushed her. She immediately caught on and corrected herself. Uncle Zhang, what brings you here? Uncle Zhang weighed the heavy meat in his hand and peeked inside the house. I brought some meat for your family. Oh, right. Where is that little brother of yours? Hearing that he was looking for me, I rushed over, completely surprised and thrilled to see him. Uncle Zhang, what are you doing here? Uncle Zhang let out a booming laugh. Ha ha ha. Forgot to mention the other day, it is all thanks to you leading that wild boar right into the trap. Otherwise, I never would have caught the beast. So, I brought you some meat as a special thank you. You definitely earned your share of the credit. I quickly invited him inside, and he began to tell the whole story, leaving absolutely no details out. My secret trip alone into the deep forest, and almost getting gored by a wild boar. It is all exposed now. Uncle Zhang slammed the meat right onto the table. Oh my god, a full 20 pounds of pork leg. Seeing this, my oldest sister quickly tried to decline. Hunter Zhang, this is way too much. Please, take some back with you. 20 pounds of pork, that's a whole 160 copper coins. But I knew exactly what was going on. Uncle Zhang just felt bad for his apprentice, and was just finding an excuse to help us out. With his skills, how could he possibly struggle with a wild boar? I already brought it all the way here. There's no way I am taking it back. Uncle Zhang was absolutely firm. Unable to persuade him, my sister had no choice but to make him stay for dinner. I was hiding in the back, giggling to myself. But the moment my sister turned around, she poked me right on the forehead again. Didn't I tell you not to run off into the woods? Why are you so stubborn? What if something horrible happened to you? I stuck my tongue out, feeling guilty. I got too caught up picking mushrooms. I completely forgot. I promise I won't do it again. My oldest sister let out a helpless sigh, then turned around to help my fourth sister with the fire. My fourth sister was staring at that massive chunk of meat, her eyes literally sparkling. Happiness came so suddenly for her. Tonight, she could really show off her cooking skills. Since we had a guest, we specially cooked a pot of rice with plenty of grains and fewer sweet potatoes for dinner. I stood by watching her cook, and noticed how incredibly skilled she was. She was tossing that big iron wok just like a master chef. But it seemed like soy sauce didn't exist in this era. Dishes came out looking pale and watery. They just didn't look appetizing at all. Suddenly, a brilliant idea flashed through my mind. Truly worthy of being a future culinary master. My fourth sister finished stir-frying a plate of pork and seltas, and asked me to taste it. I took a small bite. The saltiness was just right, and the meat was perfectly seasoned. It was genuinely delicious, so I immediately gave her a big thumbs up. It is so good. Who knew she wouldn't be completely satisfied with that? Just so good. Come on, give me a real critique. Is there anything I need to improve? I thought about it carefully. I really couldn't pick any flaws with the dish itself, so I just spoke my mind. I feel like it would be amazing if we had a sauce to add color and flavor. You know, something that makes the dish look a bit darker and taste a lot more savory. Of course, the stir-fry itself is already incredibly tasty. I just think the flavor profile is a little bit simple. Just as I expected, she froze. A sauce to add color and flavor? Yeah, I watched her eyes light up. Exactly, the kind of sauce you can store for a long time. And every time you cook, you just add a little bit, and it makes the dish taste so much richer. Our current cooking methods are just too basic. We need to innovate. We need to create a cuisine that is entirely our own. The moment I said that, she instantly fell into deep thought, muttering to herself as she tried to wrap her head around it. Right after that, she made a dish of blanched greens and salted meat broth. Eating it felt a lot like having hot pot. The greens were cooked perfectly and absorbed all that rich meaty flavor. It was absolutely delicious. That idea was actually pretty brilliant. But a second later, she asked me how to make those shredded potato pancakes. But as soon as she tried it herself, she just couldn't get the heat right. The first one burned right up. I quickly stepped in to guide her. Fourth sister, make sure to coat the pan with oil before you fry them. Don't add any more wood to the fire. Just let the leftover heat fry them slowly. Keep flipping them so they don't burn. She followed my advice and tried frying a few more. Sure enough, this batch came out perfectly golden brown. Not a single burnt spot. Wow, it really worked. After that, the way fourth sister looked at me softened up a lot. Oldest sister saw us getting along so well and gave a relieved, happy nod. At dinner, Uncle John couldn't stop praising the spread we'd put together. He especially loved the boiled salted meat, happily scarfing it down. After we ate, we took the 20 pounds of pork he had brought over. We salted most of it to make smoked bacon, keeping just a few pounds aside to eat fresh. Still, all that harmony at the dinner table couldn't hide the massive crisis hanging over our family. And I was the only one who could change things. Bright and early the next morning, eldest sister and fifth sister were heading out to forage for mushrooms. But before she left, she pulled me aside, still looking terribly worried. Cece, what exactly are you planning to do? You promised Boss Zhang you'd pay off 30 taels of silver in a month. Please don't push yourself too hard. If it's too much, let me figure something out. I looked into her eyes, which were brimming with anxiety. But I just gave her a confident smile. Eldest sister, don't you worry. I've already figured out a way for us to make some money. Just go pick those mushrooms for now. Eldest sister sighed helplessly, and had no choice but to head up the mountain with fifth sister. The second they were out the door, I immediately called second sister, third sister, and fourth sister over to me. My real plan was finally about to begin. I pulled out the one tael of silver I had left over from selling mushrooms yesterday, and handed it out to them. But Lun Yandi just stared at the coins in her hand, looking completely baffled. Cece, why are you giving this to us? I just gave them a mysterious little smirk, and started handing out assignments. Alright, sisters, I need you to buy a few things for me. But as soon as they heard what I wanted, they all just stared at each other in shock. Second sister, Lu Pandi, frowned deeply. What on earth are you up to? I wasn't about to give the secret away just yet. I just kept giving out orders. Third sister, go into town and buy 5 pounds of pork fat. Second sister, go around the village and get us a jug of goat's milk. Fourth sister, Yours is the easiest. Just burn a bundle of wood into ash for me. Now they were even more confused. Pork fat would cost a whole 45 copper coins. And nobody had a clue what goat's milk and wood ash were good for. Still, since I was the one who earned the silver, as much as it pained them to spend it, they had no choice but to do as I asked. Lu Xiangdi scoffed. I'd like to see what kind of nonsense you're cooking up. While they split up to run their errands, I turned right around and headed into the bamboo forest, chopping down a few large bamboo stalks to use later. Right after that, I took the wood ash fourth sister had burned, added some lime powder, and started filtering it to sell out the lye. I knew perfectly well that scented soap didn't even exist in this dynasty. So, goat milk soap made from lye, lard, and goat milk was absolutely my golden ticket to getting rich. Just as the lye was fully filtered, my sisters started coming back one after another. The goat milk only cost 10 cash, but the pork fat was the absolute hardest thing to finally scrounge up. Everything was ready. Now, all I had to do was render the lard. I chopped up 5 caddies of pork fat, tossed it into the pot, and rendered out several large bowls of beautiful, golden lard. I set aside 2 bowls for us to eat, and the last one was my capital for making a fortune. While the lard was still liquid, I poured in the boiled, hot goat milk, and then carefully stirred in the right ratio of lye. Oh boy, my sisters completely lost their minds over this. Lu Yanci, you just ruined a perfectly good bowl of lard. How are we supposed to eat this now? Seeing how much their hearts ached for the wasted food, I just gave them a knowing smile. Who said I was making food? Right after, I had the strongest one, Lu Niandi, take over the stirring. Whip it like cream, I told her, until the oil and lye water fully blended into a thick, creamy paste. Only then did I tell her to stop, and I quickly poured the semi-finished mixture into bamboo tubes. I set them aside in a cool place. Lu Xiangdi was staring at me, completely dumbfounded. That's it? You're going to earn silver with this? I clapped my hands together, looking completely confident. That's right, fourth sister. Just wait and see in 3 days. Later that afternoon, it seemed like more and more people were out foraging for mushrooms. Business was getting tough. I quietly pulled my closest sister, eldest sister, aside, and took her to where I was hiding my treasures. Eldest sister, look at this. I spilled my entire plan about making the goat milk soap. Soap pods just don't get things clean enough. And beating clothes with a wooden club just ruins them. But my goat milk soap can not only wash clothes, but you can also use it to wash your face and bathe. Sure enough, eldest sister's eyes immediately lit up. Is this goat milk soap really that amazing? If it works well, it could definitely fetch a huge price. Striking while the iron was hot, I added, more than just a good price. As long as this becomes a hit, paying off 30 taels of silver in 1 month will be absolutely no problem at all. 3 days flashed by, and it was finally time to witness the magic. I carefully popped the goat milk soap out of the bamboo molds and sliced it into thick, round bars. Rich, milky fragrance instantly filled the air. I picked up a small scrap piece, dipped it in water, and rubbed it. A thick, creamy lather bubbled up right away. After washing, my hands felt incredibly smooth and smelled like fresh milk. To really put it to the test, I even used it straight on my face. Fresh, clean, and not tight at all. It was simply perfect. The very next second, I called all my sisters over, handed each of them a scrap piece, and let them try it out right there on the spot. Lu Xiangdi was the first to try it, her face full of wonder. Wow, I have to admit this stuff smells really good. Smells so good after washing. Meanwhile, my second sister, Lu Pandi, was even more direct. She grabbed a dirty piece of clothing and started scrubbing. Right before our eyes, that dingy, gray fabric began to release its stains as the sheep milk soap lathered up. The grime just melted away. It looked completely brand new. She screamed in excitement. It gets the clothes so incredibly clean. This is way better than those old soap pods. Now, all my sisters, who just a moment ago thought I was completely wasting good lard, were staring in absolute shock. I looked at them with a smug grin. Tell me, sisters, I said. Something this cheap, practical, and effective. Wouldn't the ordinary folks absolutely fight tooth and nail to buy it? My oldest sister, Lu Jiaodi, looked at me with eyes full of pride. CC, you are an absolute genius. But right at that moment, my fifth sister, Lu Lady, with her usual sweet smile, suddenly dropped a bombshell of a question. CC, my sweet little brother. How exactly do you know how to make this? Don't tell me the Xie family taught you? My heart skipped a beat. This sly fox, she always was the most sharp-witted one. The Xie family had been merchants for generations. If they knew how to make this, there was no way they'd let this massive fortune fall into my lap. But on the outside, I put on my most innocent, sincere face. Oh, come on, fifth sister. I was just messing around like I always do. I accidentally figured out that mixing plant ash water with oil makes soap. Then I just had a crazy idea to throw in a bit of sheep's milk. Nothing special, really. That little speech of mine seemed to stop Lu Lady from digging any deeper. She actually seemed to buy it. I quickly added another line to seal the deal. I mean, all of my big sisters are incredibly gifted. As your younger brother, I naturally can't embarrass you guys. Those words hit my sister right in her sweet spot. She lifted her chin with a proud smirk, fully convinced that her cooking talents were absolutely unmatched.